name is Ellen Steele, and today I'm going to take you on a neighborhood tour of Hudson Bend. Hudson Bend is a peninsula located between Lakeway and Steiner Ranch along the banks of Lake Travis. Hudson Bend is in the Lake Travis School District, and it is kind of a hidden gem neighborhood that maybe not a lot of people know about. So the tour that I'm going to take you on today is a driving tour, and we will stop off at a few houses for sale, and I will show you some major neighborhood attractions and some local restaurants and marinas and Lake Travis, and then we will end at the brewery and at my house with some ponies. This road right here that we're on is Hudson Bend Road. Hudson Bend Road goes all the way from Ranch Road 620, which is the main road that goes through Lakeway, all the way to the end of Hudson Bend to Lake Travis. So as you can see, Hudson Bend Road is a 2-lane road. Here is a boat sales lot where you can buy a boat. Here's an ice machine. You can stop on your way to the lake to get some ice. Here, there's a hardware store, a private school on the left, and then you'll see boat and camper storage. Along Hudson Bend Road is a good mix of residential, commercial, storage, kind of a mix of everything. This building right here used to be a clothing store. I think they moved their business to online for right now. Tons of places in Hudson Bend to store your boat. If you have a boat on a trailer and you need a spot to put it, you can find tons of places. Here coming up is a Mexican restaurant that just closed down, a gas station, and then on the left is a laundromat and a tavern and a couple of restaurants. As we get closer to the lake, you'll see the trees get bigger and greener, and it's a gorgeous day here. It is winter, so the trees aren't quite as green as they normally are, but the weather here is very mild. In the months of kind of December through March, we get cold spells and then we get warm spells, and so we are in the middle of a warm spell right now. So today it's about 80 degrees and sunny and just beautiful. Last week we had some freezing weather, but this week we're back to a beautiful day. We've got on the right here was a distillery that closed down, pool company, kind of some storage units. We're gonna continue right here. There's some houses over on this side with huge yards, lots of space, big houses. This part of Hudson Bend is pretty unrestricted. There's not an HOA here. There are deed restrictions, but many of them expired years ago. There's not anybody checking on anything to make sure your garage door is painted a certain color or things like that. It's pretty low restriction. There's a new house over there on the left. A friend of mine is a builder, and his company actually built that house. I leased a house over here on the right. When the lake was up, it was a gorgeous lakefront house. The lake is low right now, so it's just grass behind, but when the lake comes back up, they will have beautiful lakefront property again. You'll see some for sale signs along here. Right now in Hudson Bend, there are 27 homes for sale just in this little area here. 27 homes for sale. There are 5 homes that are pending. And then 6 houses have sold in the last 90 days. So not a lot of people moving in and out. It's pretty slow and steady here. People do like to live close to the lake, close to the marinas. They like that Lake Travis feel for the neighborhood. This area that we're coming to right now, in the summer, on a weekend, there would be a line of traffic here. There is a spot here on the left where the party boats pick up their groups of people, and there's a boat rental company. And then straight ahead is the marina where you can rent a boat slip, you can store your boat. They have all different sizes of boat slips you can rent, and you can keep your boat here, keep it up on a hoist to avoid the zebra mussels. And anytime you want, you can just come down, put your boat into the water, and go out on a boat ride. On the weekends, they have somebody sitting in that guard shack to make sure that only authorized people are coming in, but during the week, they're pretty relaxed if you want to come in and take a look around. This is the view of Lake Travis right now. The lake is low. Normally, you see that light brown on the banks. Normally that's underwater when the lake is higher. It's so pretty out here just to come look at the water. It just gives you a good relaxing feel. It's nice to come spend the day on the boat. Now here we headed back down Hudson Bend Road, and we're gonna go up the other side of Hudson Bend. This road is called Eck Lane. So it's just the other side of Hudson Bend. Eck Lane is kind of a windier road, a curvier road. You'll see big trees over here. The sheriff's station is here on the right, and then the water district office and treatment center is on the left. So our drinking water does come from the lake. It's processed and sent out to all of the houses. If I had to pick a spot in Hudson Bend where you get the best lake views and the biggest, most luxurious homes, I would say Eck Lane is that place. You can find gorgeous houses here. I wish I could take you inside of all of them. They're built to maximize the lake view, so you look straight out of the house, right onto the water, and it's just so beautiful. That house on the left there has a gorgeous lake view. These places on the right that are up the hill also have amazing lake views, just not the lakefront access. You'll see in the evenings lots of people walking along this road. They walk their dogs, or they walk, just walk for exercise, but you do see people walking here, so you have to be careful when you drive at night and in the evenings. All of these homes, the way that they set them back from the road, it gives you a lot of privacy. This here on the right is Vintage Villas. It's a wedding event center and hotel. Super beautiful lake views. They've got flowers and just a really great setup in there. All of these are residential. You're not going to find any businesses back here in Hudson Bend. This is a condo complex on the right. I'll take you through a condo here in a minute. This also is an area with no HOA, so if you wanted to paint your house pink or put a crazy statue in your yard or have chickens, there is no one who will stop you here. When you're building a house, you do have to go through the county to get all of the permits, and all of the houses in Hudson Bend have a septic tank, and so you do have to get your septic tank recertified, and there is a process when you're building a house, but for these houses that are already here, there's not a lot of oversight. It's such a pretty day to be out driving. This road is just so pretty. There's always a lot of deer out grazing along the road, and at night you'll see a fox run across the road in front of you sometimes. A few years ago, someone who lived over here had some horses, and they did riding lessons, and so I would bring my kids over and they took riding lessons right off of this road. There's a 3-acre property up here for sale on the right. There aren't a ton of houses for sale along here. At different times, homes do come up for sale, and I like to keep an ear out with the owners for off-market properties, because once a house hits the market, if it ticks all the right boxes, it will be sold fairly quickly. So this road will dead end into a cul-de-sac here. Hudson Bend is located in the Lake Travis School District. The elementary school it feeds into is Lake Travis Elementary, which is rated a B- on niche. Hudson Bend Middle School, which is rated an A-, and Lake Travis High School, which is rated a solid A. I've had kids through every level of the school system here, so I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I cut here and we're going to turn into the Sidney Carroll neighborhood. This is a newer neighborhood of this modern style home. It's a Castle Rock community. The first house in here sold in October of 2017, and over the years different houses have come on the market, and so I always like to see them. They're always very pretty inside. These houses are on septic tanks, but it's a shared community septic, and so the HOA fees here cover that septic. The driveways aren't huge. That's one of the downsides that I hear about this neighborhood. They're about 1 car length. I don't think that there are any plans to build houses across the street here. It's just this one side of the street, but you never know what will happen in the future. Here is the house we're going to look at. And I stopped here just to kind of give a view of the neighborhood, to show the size of the driveway. The road does turn at the end, and so it continues on for a little ways, but not too far. In new construction homes in Texas, you'll see a lot of open floor plans like this. I love the thickness of the stone they did here on the kitchen island. This is a very typical new home that you'll see here in Texas, you know, an upper level new construction home. I like what they did here with the primary bathroom. And then I went back here to the living room because I realized how tall that fireplace was. It just goes all the way up full to the second floor. Here's the backyard. The fenced part is the private backyard, but there's that big grassy area in the middle if you need any extra space. And then there's actually a walking path behind the neighborhood too. Here is the upstairs. I just did a quick walkthrough to show what the upstairs of the house looks like. The bed, kind of a typical bedroom size, typical layout. You know, even though this home may not be available still, you can get a feel of what builders are doing here. I believe that this house was around, it was in the 800s. I can't remember the exact number, but it was around 800,000. Here are the views. You can get just a little peekaboo lake view. And lots of trees. So here we are in the condo complex off of Eck Lane, the one that we drove by a minute ago. I've lived in Hudson Bend since 2017 and had never actually been in this condo complex. You'll see condos come up for sale from time to time, and I never had a buyer at the time who was interested that one was for sale, but I saw that this one was empty, and so I wanted to stop in since there aren't many condo complexes in Hudson Bend, but this is one of the more popular ones. This is a first floor unit, so it's all on one level, it's all first floor. So I was really curious to see what the lake view was. This condo is for sale at $355,000. So there are no steps at all in this one, it's all one floor. And I was hoping we could get a peek of the lake, but it was just this panoramic hill country view, we call it here. I'm gonna head over now to the other side of Hudson Bend to show you what some of the other neighborhoods look like. This is back on Hudson Bend Road. We're turning off of Hudson Bend Road at that boat sales store. We're going to go around McCormick Mountain up McIntyre Circle. This is a gated neighborhood here on the right. It's called Lake Winds. They have a water tower in there that they disguised as a lighthouse. So if you're across the lake in Volente or Jonestown, I always look in the distance to see if I can see the lighthouse, and that's how I know where, it's kind of my homing beacon. The houses along here are big. They have big yards. They have lots of native trees. We don't get a ton of rain a lot of the time in Texas, so we really try to plant drought-resistant plants, like cactuses and succulent-type plants, things that are spiky and not super soft. Cedar trees grow the best, but I'll be honest, cedar trees bring out everyone's allergies. It's cedar season right now, so I apologize for that. But normally people get rid of as many cedar trees as we can, but sometimes those are the best trees that grow here in our area. They stay green year round. You'll see lots of cedar trees along the highway here, or along this road. On the left is new construction going up. These are all custom homes. People buy the lots and then they choose their own builder. We are going to turn right up here onto Timothy. And so Timothy is one of my favorite streets. I have sold a lot of houses on this street. I sold this house right here on the left. We're coming up to it where the pickup truck is. I sold the house straight ahead across the street. This one's for sale next door here. On this cul-de-sac, I sold this house, not this one, the next one, where the rent vehicle is. And then I leased the next house, and then I sold the house here at the end of the street a few years ago. It was a 1980s original, and the new owners put a ton of work into it, and it just looks amazing. So this is one of my favorite spots in town. I spend a lot of time up on this street. I think I know everyone who lives here. And it's super quiet. There's a herd of deer that runs through the neighborhood. There are no restrictions here on short-term rentals or Airbnb. So you will find some vacation rentals mixed in with the regular houses. These houses up here are bigger. If you actually look straight ahead, there are only a couple houses up on that hill, and they have amazing views and amazing yards and almost never come up for sale. These houses around the circle sometimes will. A lot of them have a pool and a lot of square footage and amazing lake views. The downside of some of these is that you'll get a steep driveway. So to take the trash cans in and out, you're going to be walking up a hill. I don't know if you can see how far down that house is, but you're driving down that driveway every day. A plus of this is that we don't get much icy weather, so at least you don't have to worry about sliding in the ice. This is one of my favorite streets. These houses just have epic lake views here. It's hard to see from this view, but it's just gorgeous. On the weekends, people are out on their sailboats and their power boats, and it is just so pretty. Now we're gonna head over to Travis Landing Section 2. A lot of houses will get listed in this neighborhood advertising that they have a lake park, but they actually do not. So Travis Landing Section 1, that we'll head over to in a bit, they have the lake park. Travis Landing Section 2 does not. Anytime I see a house for sale and the listing says that they have lake access, I always send a message to the agent. I'm like, oh, this one doesn't have lake access actually, because a lot of people think that they do because the subdivisions have the same name. I've had a few friends who bought houses in the neighborhood and they didn't realize, they thought that they did get access to the lake and then only realized later that they did not. I sold this house here, this house with the trailer. I sold that a few years ago. So we are in Travis Landing Section 2 here. This is another area with no restrictions, no HOA. You can have chickens, you can have an Airbnb, you can park your boat in the driveway, you could park your camper in the driveway, you could park your camper in the driveway and live there. There's nobody checking on anybody out here. This is a barn dominium that somebody built right there. There are a few empty lots here in between houses every once in a while. Someone built a new house up there, so it's kind of varied. A lot of these houses were sold originally with 2 lots, like this next house that we're going to go to. This is one of my listings, and it's on the market right now for about $575. It's on a double lot. It's a 3-bedroom. Here you can see it's set super far back from the road, so you get a lot of privacy. I sold that house next door there also. I love the trees in this yard. Here is the backyard. So there's not a ton of backyard. All the yard space is in the sides and on the front. They've got a hot tub and a TV back here. I love this backyard. The square footage of the deck is actually close to the square footage of the inside of the house. They've got a full wraparound deck upstairs and then this side deck here. In the spring, this yard and the trees just look so pretty, all green. In my listing photos, I have the trees on there from when the owners leased it out, and it just looks so pretty with all of the green. This, I would say, is fairly typical. The house was built in 1998, and this is about what you'll see. I think the kitchen was redone at some point, and so the cabinets are white. In the 90s, you know, they did that honey oak a lot of the time. And so it has been updated since then. Here we're driving back up that road, and you'll see there's a dog boarding studio here on the left. They have an animal sanctuary with a tortoise and a couple of miniature donkeys. To the left up here is a sailboat repair shop, and to the right is a boat storage place. Some people lived in that house, and they opened the boat storage, and then it looks like they put the house on the market just in the last week or so. There's a little Airbnb there on the left, and then here are some condos on the left. You'll see people park their trailers, and you can pretty much do what you want here. You're allowed to park on the side of the road. In the evenings, in this spot, you really have to watch because the deer are everywhere in the evenings. You just see so many deer all the time here. So we're going back through the neighborhood toward the Austin Yacht Club. Many of these houses through here were built in the 70s and the 80s, and so some things to really watch out for here is the plumbing. You know, the pipes can be old, or the tree roots can grow down into them. The septic tanks can be old. Lots of things in older houses to look out for. There are also newer houses mixed in. You can see that one over there on the left. You know, they kind of have, over the years, have been updating. And here at the end of the road is the Austin Yacht Club. If the gate had been open, I would have snuck in for a quick tour there, but it was shut. They do food trucks, and they have sailboat races on the weekends. It's a cool club, but you have to be an active sailboat racer to be a part of that club. We're here now in Travis Landing Section 1. So this is the neighborhood that has that 40-acre park on Lake Travis. This neighborhood, there are some newer houses, and you'll actually see, we'll drive past where they're building another new house, but you'll see a lot of older homes here. That one at the end I showed last year when it was up for sale, and it was completely original, everything, and I saw a dumpster sitting out in front of it, so it looks like they are working on a remodel on that one. I sold a house over here on the right a few years ago. We did have some plumbing issues with that. The pipes were just old and the tree roots were growing in, so we had to work with a plumber on that to get it all squared away. This part of town, you definitely want to work with an agent who's familiar with the area if you're considering buying a house in here. And when I have clients tell me they want to live on Lake Travis, this is one of the first neighborhoods I take them. You could buy a $400,000 house in this neighborhood, or you could buy a $3 million house in this neighborhood. You know, it's super variable. Everybody gets access to that park. There is hardly any traffic in the neighborhood. In the evenings, you'll see the deer, you'll see kids riding their bikes. I showed a house, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. It was a morning, it was kind of cold, and we went out to the backyard and there was a little fox curled up on the patio chair outside. You'll get lots of wildlife. If you have a small dog or a cat, you want to keep an eye on them. We do have coyotes in the neighborhood, and it's definitely more country than a lot of areas. There are lots of trees, you'll see owls and big birds, and it's a really great natural feeling neighborhood. A lot of homes in this neighborhood I found will sell before they hit the market. People talk, there's a Facebook group, there's an HOA group, and so if someone's thinking about selling, 9 times out of 10, someone's cousin, someone's nephew, someone's friend of a friend, they get dibs on the house before it hits the market. So it really pays to be connected in this neighborhood. This is their lakefront park. So it's hard to see the lake from here, but it's past this big grassy area. You can camp, you can have a bonfire, there's a playground, a volleyball court. I've been to kids' birthday parties in here. They do a big fireworks show on the 4th of July and monthly meetups with the HOA. You can store your boat down here, and they keep it pretty heavily under lock and key, and they don't give out copies of that key to non-residents. Short-term rentals are not allowed in that neighborhood. We are going to head back out towards Hudson Bend Road. Right now, the road that we're on is called Beacon. There's a little tumbling place right there to the left. Up here is an RV park where people live long-term. And then on the right is a gas station and mini mart. They've got a lot of grocery things, so if you're one ingredient short for dinner, they probably have it there. Straight ahead again is this little strip with the laundromat and the tavern. They were resurfacing the parking lot, so I didn't get to go in there today. So earlier when we came this way, we went straight, and now we're gonna go left. I have a few friends who live over in this part of Hudson Bend, so earlier when I went straight, my car wanted to go left because that's the way I normally go. This is Rocky Ridge, the road we're on right now, and we're turning onto Highline Road. Back in the old days of Hudson Bend, 10 or 15 years ago, the happening spot of Hudson Bend was called Carlos and Charlie's. It was a lake bar with music, and it was packed, and the lake went down and Carlos and Charlie's went out of business. It has been several things over the years since I've been here. It was Vincent's, it was Emerald Point Marina, and it's been a restaurant, it's been a bar, it's been a concert venue, and it's currently closed. And so I'm hoping that when the lake comes back up, we'll get another spot down there. This little side street, it's called the Reserve at Hudson Bend. This is an HOA area. You can't do an Airbnb in here. These are big houses with big yards, HOA restrictions. And the subdivision is kind of on each side of Highline Road. So this side goes this way, and then there's another side that I didn't drive down. I just kind of wanted to show another example of a Hudson Bend neighborhood. So in Hudson Bend right now, there are 27 homes for sale, 5 homes pending, and 6 homes that sold in the last 90 days. We in real estate call one of our indicators for market health, we call it months of inventory. And so we say if no new houses came up for sale right now, how many months would it be before all of the homes on the market sold, if they sold at the same rate that they sold over the last 6 months? And so based on that, we have about 7.5 months of inventory. So anything over 6 months is a buyer's market. So in Hudson Bend right now, it is still a buyer's market. In the past year, I kind of looked, and the shortest house that was on the market sold in 0 days. And the house that was the longest on the market was on the market for about a year. So it's a huge variable. It seems right now that buyers are looking for more move-in ready homes, not as much work to be done. And so when something is listed with an amazing lake view, or has been updated, or is new, or there's something special about it, those houses just go off the market really fast. There is still a lot of negotiating power for buyers right now, and I've seen sellers giving credits for mortgage rates buy down. I've seen sellers come down on the sales price. The average in Hudson Bend of list price to sales price is about 95%. So if a house is listed at a certain price, the sold price will be about 95% of that. So sellers are giving some discounts. Not all sellers, but it's worth a shot. This neighborhood here is called the Woods of Lake Travis. I've got a few friends in this neighborhood. They also have their own HOA park with a small marina and a pavilion and some walking trails. It's one of the nicer HOA parks on the lake. Right through there is the walking path to the park. And then we're headed back down through, and we'll pop over to the Emerald Point Marina so you can see what that's like. When Homes.com came through and did their neighborhood tour, this is the street that they came down that they felt like was the quintessential Hudson Bend neighborhood. And my friend's house was front and center on that video, so I sent her a message and said, look at your house. Your house is the Hudson Bend house. She thought that was funny. This neighborhood compared to Travis Landing, they both have the HOA parks, they both have amazing lake access. The houses in this neighborhood have bigger lots and generally bigger houses. The sales price over here is right around $1 million. This is a condo complex here on the right. I think it's called the Waterfall at Lake Travis. This in the summer is lots of people coming through on their boat. A lot of people keep their boat at Emerald Point Marina, and I think it's actually called Safe Harbor Marina now. It's changed names a few times over the last few years. But it's very popular in the summer. There's a parking lot down here. In the summer, this will all be completely full. Here is up on the left, you'll see that's where the restaurant is. There's a big stage and dance floor there. Vanilla Ice played there a few years ago. It's Safe Harbor now. It's not Emerald Point anymore. The lake levels are low right now. When the lake levels are high, you could bring your boat right up and dock right up at the restaurant. All of that down kind of below that stone wall was underwater when the restaurant was open. You could just take your boat right up where it's all stone now. It's amazing to see the difference when the lake is low and when the lake is high. I like having these pictures when the lake is low so that when the lake is high I can go back. This is Infamous Brewery. It is a cool spot to go hang out and have a beer. They have live bands. If you are looking for a place to meet your Hudson Bend neighbors, you You will meet them here. In the summer they have misting fans and it's surprisingly comfortable. So I'm ending here. This is my house and these are my ponies. This is one of my favorite things about Hudson Bend. There's no restrictions on something like this. So if your dream has always been to have a pony, there is no one here to stop you. Here's a little historical marker about Hudson Bend. You read that and say thank you to old Wiley Hudson for founding Hudson Bend. My name is Steele. I'm a realtor here in Lake Travis. Always remember, Lake Travis is waiting for you.